In this video, we want to see how to implement on the front end image drag and drop feature. Now, there is no backend for us to actually upload the videos. I just only want to show you how you can implement the drag and drop feature, because this is something that we see a lot on a lot of sites. Okay, so this is how the finished or completed application will look like, and we can either click to browse, okay, or we can drag and drop. And to drag and drop, let me show you how. You just need to drag and drop it inside here, and the image is displayed. You can drop as many images. Okay, so right here you can see you can drop as many images as you want, or you can go, you can remove. Okay, you can remove the images. You can select from here. So select this, is displayed. You can select, or you can drag and drop. Okay, so we are only implementing this on the client side. There is no actual uploading of the images. Okay, so let's go ahead and start implementing this. So I'll go right here. I'll create index.html, style.css, and script.js. Okay, so for the index.html, let me just try to see if I can, yes, use this. So I use the Emmet extension, and it just generated all of this for me. So I'll change this to image drag and drop uploader. Okay, and let me add the link, and I want to add the link to our CSS, which is style sheet, and href, this will be styles.css. Okay, now this is going to be very simple as well. Okay, we don't want anything complicated. So we are going to create a div with class container. So I'll give this a class equal to container. Okay, and I'll add h1. I can call this image uploader. Next, I want to set the drop zone. Okay, so this part right here, I want to set it up, and we can do that. Div, I'll add a class of drop zone and ID of drop zone. Okay, and here, let me just paste this. I want to add an SVG for an icon. Remember, I said we're not using any external library, so for this particular icon, I'll just add the SVG. Let me close this. Okay, so this is, you can pause or you can copy it from the GitHub repo. Okay, and next I can add a text. I'll add p tag, drag and drop images here, or I'll add a label. So we'll add an input. This will be browse files, browse files, and on the label I'll add 4 equal to file input, and class will be equal to btn. And now let us add the input. So the input, and this is going to be hidden. Okay, we are not going to display the input on the page. We're only displaying this browse file label that is used as a button. So type equal to file ID. So the ID must match the ID or the for property we set on the label, so which is file input. And we only want to upload images, okay? Only images. Now you can set yours up to accept different file types, but for this case, we are only setting images type, okay? So if you try to upload a PDF or a video file or an MP3 file, you will get an error. And also we want to allow multiple, and by default is going to be hidden. Okay, so this file input type will only accept images. Any other file type will be rejected. So PDFs, MP4, MP3, it will reject it. And we want to be able to upload multiple files or drag and drop multiple files, and it's going to be hidden by default. Now, after this div right here, we want to add a div where we display the images. So class, I'll call this preview dash grid, and ID will be preview grid. And lastly, let's just add our scripts before the closing body tag. So script right here, and source is script.js. Okay, so this is what we have inside our index.html. Now for the styles, yeah, I think I'll paste it as well instead of spending time to type it out. Okay, to take us a lot of time. So we have the generic properties that will be applied on all pages. Then the body. Okay, so we have flex, justify content center, the container, the H1 tag, the drop zone, drag over, SVG, and you can see the preview grid, preview item. So these are the properties that we've added to the CSS style. Okay, now let us go ahead and work on the script.js. Okay, so first let us get these elements: the drop zone with ID drop zone, the preview grid, and the file inputs. Okay, so in JavaScript you get that const drop zone equal to document dot get element by ID. So the first element is the drop zone, and this one will be file input, and this will be preview grid. Okay, so we've gotten these elements on the DOM. Now next is to open file picker when clicking the drop zone. Okay, so drop zone dot add event listener, and the event listener we want to add is the click. So in case the user clicks here, we open the file picker, or if they click on the button, we open the file picker. Okay, so that is just what we have here. We are using the click event, and I'll add a callback here, and this will be file input dot click. Recall that the input right here of type file and ID file input is hidden. So it's not going to be displayed here, so it is hidden. And then whenever we click on the drop zone, we are going to automatically click on the file input to open the file picker. Okay, or if we click on the browse file button, we open the file picker. So that is what we have right here. And I'll say file input, so we want to add another event list. Now this time is the change. Okay, so we want to add the change event listener, and inside I've not added the method yet, so let me just add the name, handle files, so file input dot files. Now, these handle files have not been created, so we'll create it, and then file input dot value equal to empty. So after selecting, we want to empty the file input value. Okay, so we will need to create this file. Next, let's add the events for the drop zone. So drag zone dot add events listener dot add event listener, and the event we want to add is the drag over. Okay, so there's an event called drag over, add event listener drag over, and the callback here will take the event right here, and we'll say event dot prevent default. Okay, so drag zone, and here I'll say, is it drag zone or drop zone? Oh, drop zone, not drag zone, drop zone. Yeah, so drop zone dot class list dot add. So this is just drag over. This is just a class that I added. It's in the styles file. So let me just add this drag events, and we need another one. So drop zone dot add events listener. This is going to be dragleave event. Okay, and here we don't need this event. We can just say drop zone dot class list dot remove, then we remove the class drag over. Okay, so this is what we have. Then next, we add another event. I'll call this drop, so that when the user drags and then drops inside the drop zone, so there's an event called drop, and we call event.prevent default. We remove, so here I'll remove the drag over class, and I'll call the handle files. We've not created it yet, so this will be event.data transfer dot files. Okay, so when you add the drop event, to get the files, you get it from event.datatransfer.files. Okay, and now let us go ahead and create the handle files. So this is going to be files right here, and since this is not an actual list but an array type, so I can just spread it to create a new array dot for each file. Okay, recall that the files property that you usually get from your file type is not an actual array, but it's array-like in JavaScript. So you can convert it to an array using the spread operator, or you can use array from. Okay, and then here, so if there is no file.type dot starts with, so if it does not start with an image slash or image slash, okay, then we use an early return. Like I said, we are only going to be adding images, no other file type. So we check if the file type does not start with image slash, then we use early return. And then const reader equal to new file reader. Okay, and we call the onload, so reader dot onload equal to this right here. Okay, and now const item, we want to display the files that were dropped. So I'll create document dot create element, and I want to create a div element, and then item dot class list dot add. So I'll add the class preview item. Okay, and then next const image equal to document dot create element. So we want to create an image element. Okay, and image dot source equal to e dot target dot results. So we're getting it from when we call this onload method. And image dot alt file dot name. Okay, so you know, on image tags, something like this, we usually have source and alt. I know you must have seen something like this. Okay, then the next is the remove button. So const remove btn equal to document dot create element, and I want to add a button. So remove btn dot class list dot add remove dash btn. So we're adding a class to the button that we are generating on the fly. Okay, so if you check the index, we don't have any of those here, so we're creating them on the fly. So remove btn dot text content equal to x, and then remove btn dot add event listener. So we want to add a click, and we add a callback with item dot remove. Okay, so whenever we create an element, we have access to this remove method. You can see right here, it says removes node. And then we need to append item dot append child. We want to append image, item dot append child, remove button, and then preview grid dot append child, and then we want to append the item. Okay, so this is what we have. One last thing we need to do inside this will be reader dot read as data, reader dot read as data URL, and then we pass the file. Read as data URL, and then we pass the file. Okay, so I think this read as data URL converts the file. I think reads it as a blob or converts it to maybe something like base 64 encoded strings. Okay, so but we need to call this. So let me go ahead and try this out. So show preview. Okay, you can see how it looks right here. If I click, it shows the file picker. I can click here to show the file picker. I can drag and drop. So now let me drag and drop my image. So you can see right here, I will drag and drop, and I have the image displayed. I can add as much as I want. You can see I have my images displayed right here. So I can remove them. I can add them using this. right here. You can see it, okay? Or I can drag and drop, and it is displayed right here. So this is it. This is how you create a simple drag and drop or a drop zone for your images or your files. Now for this, we only implemented so that it accepts only files. You can do the same for other file types like videos, like email, MP3s or audios or different file types. Okay.